So, what happens when just pure, unshakable honesty runs headfirst into calculated greed? Well, today we're diving into a classic fable about exactly that. It's about a man, his entire life savings, and this brilliant plan that turns a predator's greatest strength against him.
And that's really the big question at the heart of our story today, isn't it? We're going to explore this through the journey of a man named Bushin. And as you'll see, he finds out that the path of integrity, well, it's not always safe. In fact, it can be really dangerous.
Okay, so our story kicks off, as so many do, with a crisis. Bushan's entire life gets turned completely upside down by things way beyond his control, and it forces him to leave everything he's ever known behind and just start over from scratch.
Yeah, a really nasty drought has basically destroyed his home village. There's no work, no future there at all. So Bushan sets out all by himself, and he ends up in a new town where he's a total stranger with literally not a single rupee to his name. He manages to find work with a wealthy farmer, a guy named Jagat Seth. And the job? It's tough. I mean, he's taken on the grueling task of looking after 100 animals. It's relentless. It's dirty. But hey, it's a roof over his head, even if it's just in a cowshed, and it's a real chance to start over.
And this is where you really start to see what Bushin is made of. He just throws himself into his work, and his dedication, well, it does not go unnoticed. His boss, Jagat Seth, is so impressed by how hardworking and honest he is that he doubles his salary. For the first time, it feels like Bushin is finally starting to build a future.
So, fast forward a few years. All of Bushan's hard work has paid off, and his savings are growing. But with this new wealth comes a totally new and unsettling problem: fear.
Through just sheer persistence, he saved up 5,800 rupees. Now for him, that is a life-changing amount of money. But here's the problem. Crime is on the rise in the village, and he's terrified that his little home will get robbed while he's at work, wiping out years of labor in a single moment. So he turns to his boss for advice, and Jagat Seth suggests the local landlord, the Zamindar. Now, you have to understand, in this society, the Zamindar is a really powerful figure. And this guy, in particular, is seen as a pillar of the community, known for being honest. Plus, with guards all over his property, it seems like the safest place in the whole village.
So Bushin takes his life savings to the Zamindar, who, let me tell you, puts on an absolute masterclass performance. He refuses to even count the money, just declaring how much he trusts Bushan. And Bushan, totally convinced, leaves feeling this huge sense of relief. His future, he thinks, is finally secure.
2 years go by. Bushan is finally ready to buy his own piece of land. He goes back to the Zamindar to get his savings, expecting it to be a simple, easy transaction. But what he gets instead is a complete and just devastating betrayal.
The Zamindar just pretends he has no idea what Bushin is talking about. He claims to have no memory of him, no memory of the money. And then he coldly asks for paperwork, for a receipt, knowing full well that their entire deal was based on nothing but trust.
And then, in this just sickening twist, the Zamindar completely flips the script. He accuses the honest Bushan of being a con artist, a fraud trying to cheat him out of money and ruin his good name. So this isn't just a denial, it's a brutal, violent act. The Zamindar actually has his men beat Bushan until he's unconscious. It's adding physical injury to financial ruin. Bushan is just thrown out, totally broken and penniless. For 2 whole days, Bushin is too injured and just distraught to even work. Jagat Seth finds him, hears this horrific story, and he is just consumed with guilt for giving him such terrible advice. He refuses to let this stand and starts cooking up a brilliant plan for justice.
Jagat Seth understands something really crucial here. You can't reason with a greedy man using morality. No, you have to exploit his weakness. The plan is simple, but absolutely brilliant. Use the Zamindar's own insatiable greed as the bait for the trap.
So check this out. Jagat Seth is going to go to the Zamindar himself and offer to deposit a massive sum, we're talking 50,000 rupees, for safekeeping while he's on a business trip. The bait is almost 10 times what was stolen from Bushin. The trap is now officially set.
And now it's time for the final act. Jagat Seth shows up at the Zamindar's home, suitcase in hand, ready to spring his perfectly crafted trap.
The whole plan just unfolds with perfect precision. To prove how honest he is to the wealthy Jagat Seth, the Zamindar suddenly remembers Bushan and gives him back his 5,800 rupees.
Then, at that exact moment, a servant runs in and says, Jagat Seth's trip is cancelled. So Jagat Seth thanks the Zamindar, takes his 50,000 rupees back, and leaves the greedy landlord standing there with absolutely nothing.
So Bhushan gets his money back, and Jagat Seth delivers the story's powerful moral. And it's a timeless lesson, right? It says that while honesty can be tested and even attacked, a little bit of cleverness and integrity can make sure it's ultimately rewarded.
This leaves us with a really tough question. Bhushan was saved because his boss trusted him, but he was almost destroyed because he trusted the Zamindar. It kind of forces us to think, in our own lives, how do we find that balance between having faith in people and being cautious enough